Welcome, family, to Dr. Mumbi's Spiritual Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms. We really want to thank every single person that has supported us on Patreon. You enable us to continue to bring this show to the millions of people that we reach daily, weekly, monthly. Family, don't believe those YouTube numbers that you see there of the number of views, because if you were to see just how far our African people are reaching, you'd be extremely shocked. But those are stories for other days. I really wanted to talk to you today about the importance of paying attention to the signs, family. We're moving into some really slippery waters, and I feel like there's going to be something that happens in 2023. I know everyone keeps saying something is going to happen, something is going to happen. And I did a show on this, on how, there's a resistance. So even though the powers that be, the enemies of our soul or Babylon can be like, the world is going to go into famine, or this is going to happen, the world is going to end. If there's enough resistance from the consciousness of the people, then their plans won't come to pass. And we saw that already with, what happened with the pandemic. But I'm here to warn you, family, they're coming back with that. They're coming back for round 2 to see how many more people they can get. And so, a lot of people now are weary. A lot of people are tired. They've been beaten on all sides by rising fuel prices, rising this, rising that. But the mandates are going to come back for sure. This thing of quarantining the whole world, locking down the whole world, that was like a trial run. We're definitely going to go into a round 2 of that. And so I really hope and pray, family, that even if you felt like, we're doomsday sayers or whatever, that you have prepared your place in the wilderness or outside of the city. Even if you still feel the city vibe, you still want to be in the city, etc., etc. You work in the city, maybe you have no option to leave. I really hope you've prepared your off-grid home. Even if it's just a shack, even if it's just one room, you'll be happy you have it. And that in that shack, which in some countries can cost less than $500 to build, which I know is out of the reach of many, but still, you can find that where there's a will, there's a way, family. Make sure you have seeds. Make sure you have, things that you could start up a life with in case everything goes bust. Because what these people are going for is the control of the group consciousness. I've talked about it so many times, family, and I really feel even the Hadron Collider and all of that is trying to pierce the consciousness of the world so that they can control the consciousness. Because controlling the minds is not deep enough. Controlling the minds doesn't give them longevity. Because once one generation of minds goes, then they have to keep retraining, which is why they have to have education centers and all this stuff. And it's just not working as well as it used to, because now there's new energetic frequency coming into the planet. New energies basically means new ideas, new information, new codes, new keys to consciousness. A consciousness that they don't have. So it's kind of like it's crazy when you think of what they're trying to do from the perspective of a God. It's like, how do you achieve that? How do you try and pierce a consciousness that you don't possess? Only those with links to previous bloodlines have access to that consciousness. With ancestors, those who have links to ancestors, those who have links to ancient ones. And then they have to have a certain priestly anointing within their own bloodlines to have access to the global Akashic records, the global books of life that tell you what Mama Africa has been through. But family, this is not to scare you, but just to tell you, don't get tired. Don't think like this is not going to happen, or, we're in the best of times and we're in the worst of times. I really see good things coming towards me, but I'm paying attention to the collapse of Babylon. Rome has fallen, family. when something that big falls, it's never pretty. And you have to literally get out of the way. Because we've reached the point now of no return. Like our family, our ancestors, our beloved cosmic ancient families are coming in now. Like the clock has been reset in nature. It's happening. We don't have any more time. So if you're caught up with Babylon and you're a chosen one, you will fall with Babylon. Because as a chosen one, you're also supposed to be high enough to make the right choices for yourself. You should have already been removed from situations, people, and places that would compromise you bringing in and anchoring in this new reality, this new love, this new world, family. And so if your life has not changed in at least the last at least since 2020, but if you haven't been progressively moving towards this and made some major shifts in your life, then you need to start looking at, you may just not make it. Because so many things have been engineered, family. They're literally trying to create like a 7G consciousness, like seriously, system. So pay attention to the signs, and I think it's more important for us to know the signs and not their signs as much as our own people's signs. It's good to be aware of what they said was coming, and then it's also good to be extremely aware of what our ancient ones said that would be coming, because they saw these people coming. They saw these people coming over 100 years ago, and they also saw them leaving. And what is going to happen on Mama Earth is we are going to have two different nations, two different realities, family. When you listen to what is happening in their world, it's pretty scary what CERN is doing and how CERN actually opened the magnetic field for 14 hours or something crazy like that the other day. Something that has never been done. Usually the magnetic field will open and then close. Like they're playing with things that they don't even know about, which will make them a target. And anyone associated with them becomes a target by default. And that's why we're told, come out of her. I really apologize for the winds, family. The weather has been so crazy. We're in our winter season here in Kenya. And so sometimes there's no wind, and then sometimes there's wind. But pay attention to the signs and find out. Let me know what some of the signs are. Let us know what some of the signs are in your communities. Because you see here, among the Agekoyo nation, we know that there will be some kind of end time Muzamaki that is supposed to emerge. He is here now. He is living amongst us. We know that the rulership is going to leave this whole democracy neo-colonial system, and in a twinkle of an eye, it's going to be returned to the Mau Mau, the original freedom fighters, the people of Mount Zion. We know that's going to happen. But if we look at what's happening with the elections and everything, it may look like absolutely nothing's going to change. Or it may look like we're just going into another neo-colonial system. But you see, that new reality has to come. And the old reality has to leave. And we know how messy Babylon is, man. They never leave without making a total mess. So come out of her. Get used to living your life in nature on a smaller scale. Dial down your life. Family, I've done shows on this for the last 2 years, and everything I talked about is coming into play now. Start to make contacts with different community members, different people in your community. As I mentioned in a previous video, now I have a farm where, I have my own farm, but I'm kind of far from there right now. I was moved by spirit. So now I have a farm that makes all kinds of organic produce where I can always have food. Whether Kenya goes into, I don't want to call it that. I really don't want to call this on the nation, but whether we go into some kind of unrest, whether Kenya becomes unmanageable, whatever the situation is, I know I can directly get my food. I've stored up as much oil as I can. I have a bicycle if that doesn't work out. Like, I am just setting and I've dialed down my life, family. But pay attention to the signs. Especially when you see odd things start happening in your skies. Go deeper spiritually and ask. That's why we spent the last 2 years, and some of us all our lives, cementing, growing, integrating the voice of our ancestors into our own lives, where it's like they're people that live with us daily. They're literally here in the spirit, even if we don't see them physically. It's for such a time as this, because you're going to have to move with spiritual discernment. You're going to have to be able to see a physical sign from Babylon and interpret it spiritually. Have your spiritual team tell you this is what's going down, or even lead you to the information that you need. Pay attention to the signs in the weather, family. Right now, Kenya is going through one of the coldest winters. It's crazy, especially Nairobi. There's so many stories that could be said about that. Pay attention to the signs is all I'll say. And one of the most important signs you can pay attention to is nature, the animals. If there are any birds or any animals around you, start to pay attention to their movements. Because before any destruction happens, they will be relocated. Let me know what some of the signs are. What are some of the things, prophecies, that were given in your nations? Please share down below, and I will definitely compile them for the future, for a future episode. Until next time, family, thanks to everyone that supports us on Patreon and enables us to continue to bring the awakening news to our people. Please consider supporting us either on Patreon or with a love donation. And definitely, check out our new podcasts, Wake Up Africa, which is a news podcast, and Dr. Mumbi Show, the podcast edition. Tuko pamoja. Looking for a conscious community, or for people, who are on their awakening journey, on their transition to an off-grid living in your country, well, we have the solution, family. We're calling it Unity Communities. We get so many emails every week from people who ask if I know of people in their region, or people in their city, or people in their town who are on a similar kind of journey, who have broken away or are breaking away from the religious psychosis, and they're looking for just people who think the same way in their town, in their city. But more importantly, to give us a community where we feel understood, understood, overstood, where we can bond with people of like mind. And if you feel called to be part of this, definitely email me at drmumbishow.com. Please put your country in the subject line with Unity Communities. Get in touch with me, Dr. Mumbi at drmumbishow.com. Unity Communities.
Wake up! Africa.